the one that I'd like to focus on today and do a little demo for you is the replicator. So I'm going to show you the front end of the demo deputy, major demo deputy, and we're going to do a little replicator job here. So I will switch over now to that window. And here we are inside the major demo deputy. Let me zoom in. I have a giant screen. Here we are inside the deputy. So you can see the tools over here that I mentioned. Today we'll just be looking at the replicator. So to create a new job on the replicator, I click new job. Today I'm going to be replicating a page from the MotoCorp instance. So I'm going to select MotoCorp as my source and our development instance as the destination. And then I'm going to search for my page by name. I'm going to search for the Domo platform. All right, there it is. It's actually already selected because I did this right before the call to make sure it was going to work. So, so there it is, demo platform walkthrough. This is the one we want to replicate. So I'm going to hit next. This is going to take a second. Essentially, what it's doing right now is it is scraping that page for the data sets that are on that page. I had the ability, if I wanted to select any of the sub pages from that parent page. I can select any number of pages from that list. You probably also saw that there were other resource types that were grayed out. Those are actually supported. Typically, you can select any combination of resource types in a replication job. You can do data sets, data flows, even just specific cards if you'd like. What we find is most customers are interested in replicating pages. And then when they say that, what they actually mean is I want to replicate a page, but also everything underneath that page that's required to power that page up. So any data sets powering that page, any data flows, and obviously any apps. We also support the new DDX Bricks apps. If a customer is using one of those as well. We've really put this thing through the ringer to make sure that it can support all the latest and greatest things on Domo. It supports variables, obviously beast modes. So yeah, we feel like there's not a lot that it can't handle at this point. So all right, so this has come back now, and these are all the data sets that are powering this particular page. The name, the ID, it tells me what kind of data set it is. And I have a few options here for how to handle each data set. I can choose to simply copy the data set, which essentially means it's going to create a data set copy. Using the data set copy connector, it will create just a raw copy of that data set. I can also choose new. And say I'd like to actually create a new version of this data set using the same configuration, and then I can choose my account here. I can also map to an existing data set. So that's a frequent use case where maybe you've already created the data set ahead of time. Maybe it's a data set that's existed in the destination instance for a while, and you just want to simply map to that. So this is where you'd select that. For the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to go ahead and copy all of these data sets. I don't have anything existing that I'd like to map to, nor do I wish to create those new. And I'll click replicate. And my replication job is now running. I'm going to go into my destination instance here, which is our development instance. And we'll see that the replicator has created a data set for me that actually functions as the log for my replication job. So open this up, you can see that it's constantly importing. It's trying to get the latest logs here. And so this is great visibility into my job. It's inside Domo where I'm already working. I can see everything that's going on line by line. I can see it's scraping the pages for the data sets. It's making sure that the token I provided actually has access to those data sets. It's grabbing the page analyzers. There aren't any in this particular case. It's looking for any data flows. It did find a data flow. And so it added the data flow to the job. And this should complete for us here in just a couple of minutes. You can also access the log from the front end of the Majordomo Deputy, but we find that people are typically working inside of Domo and prefer to just consume it in here. All right, it's working on the data sets now. It's creating data sets in the destination. Another great thing that the replicator does is when it encounters a very, very large data set, it will grab a small number of rows from that data set in the spirit of expediency, and it will bring those rows over first so it can proceed with the replication without having to wait for all of those rows to come over first. You know, we have obviously some gigantic data sets out there, and it's just not, it's not a great experience to just have the whole job just screech to a halt and wait for, you know, 3 hours while that data comes over. So the replicator just grabs enough rows that it needs to power up cards, power up data flows, create beast modes, whatever it needs to do, and then it proceeds with the job and it backfills the rest of that data over time. Now it's working on the beast modes. Looks like it finished those. It replicated the data flow. All right, finished the beast modes. Now it's actually onto the pages, now the cards. You can see that for these cards that are doc cards, it's actually grabbing the file and creating the file in the destination and then creating the card. And it's pretty much finished. It replicated the page layout. Now it's deleting the temporary data sets that I mentioned that enable it to just bring over the rows that it needs. And that's finished. So our job was successful. We can check the logs here to see if there were any warnings or errors. There weren't. There were no errors, no warnings. Everything was successful exactly as planned. And now if we go over to our dashboards, we'll see that we did successfully, actually, that's the one I did earlier. Let's look at this one. Yep. So here's that page. This is from Motocorp. This is you know, a page that actually does need to be replicated out of Motocorp, as I understand it, often, to help customers get started on the Domo platform. So this was achieved in a matter of minutes. A manual person recreating this on the other side or trying to leverage Sandbox to do this definitely would have taken, you know, at least an hour, maybe longer.